I was thinking to myself, what is something a lot of people are afraid of these days? And honesty comes to mind. We live in a very scrutinizing and hostile world, particularly online. So what better way to celebrate this reality of 2022 than to answer 40 questions that everybody is afraid to ask? Question number 1. If today were the last day of your life, would you want to do what you are about to do today? No, of course not. Probably go find something good to eat and go spend time with my wife. Question number 2. What worries you most about the future? I suppose what worries me most is that I will, by chance, not continue to grow, evolve, and advance as a human being. Question number 3. Are you holding on to something that you need to let go of? Absolutely. I've got things swirling around in my brain from years past that just pop up from time to time. And that happens a lot. I just try not to take those thoughts personal. All right, question number 4. If you had a friend who spoke to you the same way that you sometimes speak to yourself, how long would you allow that person to be your friend? See, I like this question because I'm actually really, really good at speaking to myself kindly, respectfully, and lovingly. So I think I would be friends with me forever because I don't talk shit about myself to myself ever. Question number 5. What is the difference between living and existing? I think existing is being an autopilot, and living is growing and learning and experiencing things. Question number 6. If we learn from our mistakes, why are we always so afraid to make a mistake? Because mistakes can hurt. Question number 7. What impact do you want to leave on the world? I want to leave, I suppose as far as legacy goes, I want to be seen as someone who was kind and respectful to everyone, but who wasn't afraid to stand in his own truth, be himself, and set boundaries. Number 8, is it out of reach or have you just not stretched yourself far enough? I haven't stretched myself far enough. 9, in the haste of our daily lives, what are we not seeing? I don't understand why this is suddenly like a we thing. Somewhere in the middle of acknowledging my own thoughts and feelings and fears and wants and potential needs, but also being grounded in the very real fact that I live such a great life and I have so many great friends and wonderful opportunities, things like that. Number 10, if life is so short, why do we do so many things we don't like and like so many things we don't? I suppose it falls under the category of the grass is always greener on the other side. Oftentimes the path of least resistance tends to be quick satisfying things, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, shit like that. We want to feel good right away, but we long for this idea of virtue and consistency and discipline and values and morals and success and fulfillment, and those things take longer and they're harder. Those are my thoughts. Number 11, if you looked into the heart of your enemy, what do you think you would find that is different from what is in your own heart? I don't particularly have any enemies. I just have certain people I choose not to spend time with anymore. But I imagine I'd find a lot more similarities than differences. And I think at the core of it all, barring someone being particularly evil, and I don't think I know anyone that's inherently evil, even the people I don't like, I'd find that we were just raised different environment, different upbringings, different influences, things like that. Could probably explain a lot of our differences. 12, life is too short to tolerate blank. I'm going to say disrespect. I've rid myself of energy suckers and disrespectful people. Number 13, if you haven't achieved it yet, what do you have to lose? I suppose nothing, depending on what you want to achieve. Failing isn't failing if you're failing forward. Number 14, how do you know whether it's time to continue holding on or time to let go? I might just do a good old-fashioned pros and cons list. That sounds like a rootin' tootin' answer. Number 15, why do you matter? Because I think we all matter. Number 16, how many of your friends would you trust with your life? Oof. I have a lot of really, really good friends. I'm gonna just stop right there. 17, are you happy with yourself? Yeah, I think so. I love me like Kanye loves Kanye, but I think I'm a little more self-aware. Number 18, what is one fear that you know is holding you back? Oh my gosh. I've put so much time into my 2 YouTube channels, 10 plus years. a combined 1.7 million followers. This is how I earn a living. So I have these other thoughts about what I might do for career or vocation or whatever, trying to mix passion with work. So I have all these ideas, and sometimes I suffocate myself with the thought that I should just be growing where I'm planted, or I should be focusing on one thing. But I love so many things. I'm like a Swiss Army knife. I'm pretty good at a lot of stuff. I'm not great at any, and I wonder if sometimes I should be just great at something and stop trying to be pretty good at a lot. That's a good question. Okay, 19. What do you do with the majority of your money? Ugh. I'd say the majority of my money goes towards just eating out and going out, and investments, and bills. Number 20. Based on your current daily actions and routines, where would you expect to be in 5 years? Dangerously handsome still in 5 years. 21. Would you rather your child be less attractive and extremely intelligent, or extremely attractive and less intelligent? Oh my gosh. Attractive people, there are so many advantages to being attractive. 22. What have you done that you are not proud of? Mistreated people in the past. 23. Other than money, what else have you gained from your current job? Oh my gosh. Other than money, YouTube, my current job, right? My main job, it has given me incredible time freedom. I'm not monetarily rich. I'm doing well, but I'm not rich. I'm extremely time rich. I have more time than almost anyone I know. 24. What do you sometimes pretend you understand that you really don't? I think certain aspects of nutrition and fitness, because I'm a CrossFit coach and an athlete and someone who looks good physically and I speak well, a lot of people will ask me questions that truly are outside of my depth. I'm getting better at this, but I find that sometimes I answer questions the best I can, thinking to myself, you're not entirely sure what you're really talking about, you just have an idea. The older I get, the more and more I can say, I'm not entirely sure about that, but let's find out together. Or I share from something I do understand without reaching in hopes of either upholding this idea someone might have of me and or trying to impress someone. It gets better. Number 25. What's the number one change you need to make in your life in the next 12 months? I need to get my finances in order and become more organized with money coming in versus money going out. I had this stretch where I was just making a lot of money as far as my life experience. I was making over 6 figures, and I kind of thought that everything was going to stay that way. And I got really excited, and I noticed that I was spending more money and buying more things and investing a lot more money, but I was on top of the world and I got overly frivolous, and I was spending like I was going to keep making a lot of money. So when then a huge source of income disappeared, I struggled to adjust, and now I'm in a space where I want to be able to look myself in the mirror and be extremely content with my financial responsibilities. Number 26. When did you not speak when you should have? Oof. There was this guy getting his ass kicked a handful of years ago downtown at a bus stop. And I was across the street, didn't know the guys, but 2 guys I think were beating up on this other guy. And I had this instinct to scream, hey, stop, or run over there and do something. And out of fear for my own safety, I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything. I kind of just stood there, and I was like frozen in shock. And I'd like to think that I would go back in that situation and at the very least scream, stop, I'm calling the cops or something. 27, what are you procrastinating on right at this moment? I've got an online show to edit, and I'm putting it off, even though it's due tomorrow, and it takes me quite a few hours. Number 28, in what way are you your own worst enemy? Oh my gosh, I'm my best friend and my own worst enemy, in like every way. Oh, number 29, what do you wish you didn't know? Okay, here's what just went through my head. I wish I didn't know the misery of clinical depression sometimes, just because it was so terrible and so unthinkably uncomfortable that it's, to this day, I have what I consider to be a healthy fear of it, but I shudder at it. I have PTSD over it sometimes. And so, from a selfish standpoint, there was a certain shine and a certain beauty to life and a safety to life that I lost when I had my mental breakdown, when I had my treatment-resistant clinical depression. I knew that something existed now that I didn't think anyone could experience. I knew a darkness that I didn't know actually was real. And it haunts me from time to time. Now, the upside to that is it has given me tremendous perspective, a lot more appreciation for mental stability, and an incredible amount of empathy and love for those that have mental health struggles. I'm a lot more understanding, I think, of the human condition, period, for having gone through. And it has it's led me to a lot of positive things, but the sheer terror of that experience, you have to be so far removed from it to even say something like this, because it's just so bad. It's so bad that it's the worst thing you could ever imagine. And some of us, unfortunately, really understand. And that's all I have to say about that. 30. What have you given up on? I've given up on unhealthy relationships and friendships and dynamics with people that continuously prove themselves to be negative or dramatic or stressful. I've given up on keeping relationships alive for the sake of doing it because I think I'm supposed to, or I think I should. I just don't do that anymore. Number 31. What big lesson could people learn from your life? Thinking something doesn't make it true. The sooner you get familiar and skilled at reality testing, your thoughts, your experiences, those things, the happier you're going to be. Number 32. What mistakes do you make over and over again? Objectively, when I look back on my life, I have the experiences I need to have as often as I need to have them in order to decide or understand that I want to change. And I don't think it should or could happen any sooner than it ever is supposed to. Does that make sense? 33. What do you do when you love someone who doesn't love you back? Make sure you're loving them for the right reasons and the right ways. Respect their boundaries and protect yourself and respect your own boundaries. Take ownership over your thoughts and feelings. Don't victimize yourself if they don't love you back. Feel your feelings. Be sad. Talk it to death. Express it to someone. And then find safe space away from that person. And if they're meant to be yours, they'll be yours. And remember, they don't owe you their love, even if you want it really bad. Number 34. What has been draining your happiness? Trying to please other people. Number 35. What's the number one thing you intend to accomplish before you die? The number one thing I intend to... That's a big freaking question, bro. To help as many people as possible, but that's an open-ended answer. The other thing that popped into my head was to remain loyal, loving, supportive, and kind to the day I die with my wife, Jessie, to never falter in those ways, to never forsake her, to abandon her, to hurt her, things like that. I'm gonna live, man. Number 36, we're almost there. What has the little voice inside your head been saying lately? Should I get a car? Do I really need a car? Do I want a car more than I need a car? Am I too materialistic as to why I want a luxury car versus a non-luxury car? Could I see myself driving a Toyota? Oh, everyone drives Toyotas, but they're so practical. Yeah, but they're also hyper common. Why do I need to be different? Is that a self-centered thing? Is that an ego thing? So I'm just obsessing about cars. 37. What is worse than death? I'm gonna go with like a classic, being alive in a vegetated state. 38. How short would your life have to be before you would start living differently today? Oh, wow. Look at you punching me in the thoughtfulness sack. I like the way I'm living. 39. What do you do when other people don't like you? I remember that no one is required to like me for me to like me, and no one's violating my rights in not liking me, and I don't have to be around anyone that openly doesn't like me, that I'm certain doesn't like me if I don't want to. And number 40. What's one easy way to waste a life? I'd say a life that is constantly under the influence, and I mean constantly under the influence, is a pretty easy way to waste a life in certain respects. Yeah. And then another easy way is just to live in fear of other people and what they think about you, like I mentioned before. Okay, you know what? Those questions, I don't think they were as scary as maybe I wondered. They were good though, and they were thought-provoking. Did any of these questions zing you? Did they give you any thought? What was your favorite question and why? Leave that in the comments below. If you made it this far, I would love to see you write with your comment, and or as a standalone, write, wow. WOW, baby. That was good. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. We'll see you guys in the next video, and thank you so very much for your time. Adios.